Imagine you are in a new relationship. Everything feels fresh, exciting, and full of potential. You are just beginning to understand this person, and the possibilities seem endless. But here is the question: are you paying attention to just the moments, or are you noticing the bigger patterns? Today, I want to talk to you about something that can transform the way you approach relationships, not just today, but for the rest of your life. I'm talking about recognizing patterns over isolated behaviors. This simple shift in perspective can save you from heartache, frustration, and misunderstanding and set you up for deeper connections. We've all been there. Someone says something, does something, or reacts in a way that leaves us feeling puzzled, confused, or even hurt. So we focus on that single action, trying to figure it out. We say to ourselves, wait, what does that mean? And sometimes we often overthink it, picking every word apart, every gesture, every look. It's natural when we are in a new relationship. The small details stand out like they are flashing neon signs. And because of that, we can fall into the trap of interpreting isolated behaviors like a simple disagreement, a missed text, or a seemingly cold response as a reflection of who a person really is. But what if I told you that those moments, while important, don't give you the full picture? Here is the thing: people are not just single actions. We are all multidimensional, complex beings. One behavior or one argument don't define us in totality. But when you start noticing patterns, that's when the truth emerges. Why, you may ask? Because patterns reveal the hidden deeper layers of someone's character, beliefs, and emotional landscape. And they are much more reliable indicators of how someone is likely to show up in a relationship long term. So, instead of focusing on one moment your partner snapped at you for being late to dinner, ask yourself, is this behavior part of a larger recurring pattern? Maybe they often seem impatient, or maybe they are quick to frustration in other situations. Patterns are rhythms of behavior. They show up repeatedly and they tell you who this person really is. But you see, recognizing patterns take time and patience. This is why we have to resist the urge to jump to conclusions too early in the relationship. In the beginning, everything is new, everything is exciting, but it's often too soon to really know someone fully. The danger lies in rushing to interpret isolated behaviors without giving the relationship enough time to unfold naturally. Think of it like planting a seed in a garden. At first, all you see is dirt and a tiny sprout poking through. If you pull it up too soon, you won't see the true plant, the one that's going to grow and bloom. Similarly, you need time to let a person's real character emerge. It's only through repeated experiences and shared moments that you start to see the patterns: the way they handle stress, their communication style, how they show affection, their ability to be honest, and how they handle conflict. Here is a thought: what if you could avoid painful breakups and misunderstandings simply by recognizing the subtle cues in a person's pattern of behavior? For example, let's say your partner always says they want to spend time with you, but when the time comes, they cancel or seem distracted. You might think they are just busy or I'll let it slide. But if this happens multiple times, that's a pattern. It's not just a one off thing, it's the way they are engaging with the relationship. This pattern reveals their priorities, and in this case, it may suggest a lack of commitment or emotional availability. Patterns like this help you see the truth much earlier than relying on isolated moments. If you understand the pattern of avoidance earlier on, you can make an informed decision about whether the relationship is worth your emotional investment. It's important to note that not all patterns are bad. In fact, healthy relationships have patterns too. The key difference is that healthy patterns bring you closer together, while toxic ones drive you apart. In a healthy relationship, you might notice patterns of respectful communication where both people feel heard, validated, and understood. You might see patterns of support where both partners are actively rooting for each other's success and well being. Or you might see patterns of affection where simple acts of love and care become second nature. On the other hand, Toxic patterns often involve repeated disrespect, dishonesty, or manipulation. These patterns will wear you down over time, and the longer you ignore them, the harder it becomes to walk away because you've built emotional momentum based on the idea that the person will change or that it's just a one time thing. Now, did you know that our brains are wired to focus on the details, not the big picture? It's true. When something happens to us, we are wired to zero in on the emotional intensity of that specific moment. Our brains love novelty and thrive on the excitement of new experiences. So we pay more attention to isolated behaviors that stand out rather than recognizing the larger repeating behaviors. But here is the problem: those isolated moments can fool us. They can trick us into thinking that someone is a certain way based on one or two interactions. We might ignore those subtle but recurring patterns that reveal a deeper truth. Now, to break free from this, we have to consciously train our brain to look for patterns instead of focusing on a single fight. Ask yourself, is this how they always react when they're upset? Instead of dismissing the one off quiet moment when they pull away, ask, is this one of the larger pattern of emotional withdrawal? Now, here is where it gets truly transformative. When you start recognizing patterns, you gain the power to choose wisely. You stop being reactive and begin to make intentional decisions about who you allow into your life and hurt. You gain a deeper understanding of your own emotional needs and how they align with another person's patterns. Think of it like getting a map. The first few times you walk through the woods, you might get lost or confused, but once you have the map, you understand the terrain and can navigate with confidence. Recognizing patterns in relationships works the same way. It's your map to making sure you are heading in the right direction and not lost in the weeds of short term emotions. So, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this: stop looking for answers in isolated moments. Pay attention to the patterns that emerge over time. The patterns tell you who a person really is, not just the fleeting behavior in a single interaction. By recognizing these patterns, you unlock the ability to make choices that align with your long term happiness rather than being swept in temporary emotions or misconceptions. Ultimately, the power of recognizing patterns will change the way you see every relationship you ever have, and it will make all the difference in finding a truly fulfilling, lasting connection. So, what patterns are you seeing in the relationships around you? What's your map telling you? Take a moment and really think about it. You might just see something that changes everything. I hope this has helped someone today. Thank you for watching and listening. I do hope to see you in my next video. Bye.